Has anyone ever broke your trust? 70% of adults say most people can't be trusted. In one day, the average person lies 4 times, totaling 1,460 lies each year. While men lie about 6 times a day, women lie 3 times a day on average. After watching this video, no one will be able to take advantage of you. One of the biggest challenges with trust is that we live in a binary world. We think of trust as either I trust you, I believe everything you say, or I don't agree with anything you say and I don't trust you at all. It feels like we're either all in or all out. The reason why this creates a huge challenge with trust is that we often give people our trust very cheaply and very easily. I'm sure we've all experienced this. You meet someone and you like the way they look, and you think to yourself, even subconsciously, I think I trust this person. Maybe you met someone recently who was really smart, who just said things that sounded incredible, or they came off charismatic, and there was a subconscious part of you that said, I feel like I trust them. Or you see the way someone behaves or acts in a very minute moment of their life or in their day, and you think, wow, they seem trustworthy. We tend to give away trust, which should be earned and built over a long period of time. We give it away extremely quickly. I want to share with you a 4-step process in how trust is earned and built with you and with other people. Research shows that we decide whether we believe someone is trustworthy or not within just 30 seconds. And often what I find challenging about that stat is we're not reevaluating or reassessing it as often as we should be. So the first time you meet someone, I want you to start at this level, neutral trust. It's not like you don't trust them, but you don't already trust them. You're also not allowing what's known in psychology as the halo effect to have its impact on you. The halo effect is when you find one trait or one quality attractive or admirable about someone, and you make that and project that onto all parts of them. Someone talks well, I trust them. Someone seems nice, I trust them. Someone's good with my family or with kids, whatever it may be, I trust them. We make these snap judgments over very little information. We make big assumptions over very little information. So when you meet someone, you want to start at a neutral level of trust, and you want to maintain that rather than giving in to that early stage halo effect. The next stage is what I call contractual trust. What you want to do here is you want to make sure that your trust works like a contract. If someone says they're going to be there at a certain time, do they show up? If someone says they're going to call, do they call? If someone says, hey, if you do this, I'll do this back, do they live up to that basic level of contractual trust? Now, the reason why we don't like this is we want trust, especially in our romantic relationships, to feel attractive and incredible and have chemistry and have a spark. But often in that pursuit, we miss out on recognizing whether someone's consistent, whether someone can actually live up to their word, whether someone can actually show us that they follow what they say. And so this level of trust is probably the most important levels of trust. It applies in the workplace, it applies in dating, it applies absolutely everywhere. Allow yourself to not get carried away by your emotions and by that search for the spark, to recognize, do I actually feel this person's consistent? Do I feel like they show up when they say they will? Do I feel like they are who they say they are? That's what this level is all about. When someone passes through that level, they reach a space in your life called reciprocal trust. This is when you do things for them and they do things for you, and now no one's keeping count. I'm sure you have long-term friends, long-term partners, people that you love in your life, that you're not keeping score of, wait a minute, did they fulfill the contract? Wait a minute, did I get the equal amount back? Maybe you pay for dinner this time, maybe they'll pick it up next time. Maybe you're the one to plan your evening out this week, and maybe they'll make up for it next year. It isn't a pressurized, focused, measured approach anymore. It's a free-flowing approach. This is what makes relationships so meaningful and exciting, and there's a great degree of trust. But there's one more level, and that level is pure trust. We're all looking for this unconditional level of trust where we feel we could say to someone, I trust you with my entire life and entire being. I trust you with every detail, every secret about me. We want that, but often what we do is we start there. When we think we trust someone, we give away this level And then what ends up happening is that they show us they're actually at this level, or actually they're at this level or even below this level, and that's the amount of pain we feel. What I mean by that is if you put someone on a pedestal of level 4 and actually they're at a level 0, you're gonna feel the pain of what it feels like to fall back down to that level. And often a lot of people who break our trust is because we gave away our trust too easily. So the next time you meet someone, or even if there is someone that you know right now that you want to build a relationship with, ask yourself, where do they actually sit here? And recognize, by the way, someone else can be looking at you in the same way. There may be people in your life where you're happy being at a contractual level of trust. You actually don't want to go beyond that. You don't need more than that. And there may be people that you're on a reciprocal level of trust with, where you know it doesn't need to get to that pure level of trust. I would like to remind everyone as well that that unconditional level of trust is so rare, it's so hard to find, and often putting that pressure on someone can weigh them down. For someone to live up to that could be extremely difficult. And so for around here, we found that sweet spot. Now that I've talked to you about the 4 levels of trust, I want to share with you the 4 different types of trust. We've talked about how to build trust with someone new or someone that you know in your life, and how to gauge where you land with them and how they land with you. Now I want to share with you the different areas of trust that we need to build and operate in. I want to introduce you to what I call the 4 types of trust. Now, I find that when we trust someone, when we love someone in our lives, we often want them to be everything. We want them to be competent, we want them to care, we want them to be consistent, we want them to have high character. And what I found over time is that we often put a lot of pressure onto that one special person to be everything and be everything at all times. And often not only does that person crumble under the pressure, when people put that pressure on us, it gets really intense for us as well. So the first type of trust I want to speak about is competence. There are certain people in your life who have great insight and great expertise in certain areas. It could be investing in the stock market. It could be buying real estate. It could be someone who has great competence around health and wellness. It could be someone who has great competence around workouts and exercising. Now that person may have amazing insight, amazing advice, amazing teachings to share with you, and you may really value them. And that's an area that you can trust them with. But that doesn't mean that that person cares about you or has to. That doesn't mean that person's consistently in your life, and that doesn't mean that person has high character. But that person is really valuable because they offer competence in a particular area. What I mean by this is you want to define the type of trust that someone offers and trust them in that area, but not feel the pressure to evaluate them or assess them, or trust them in all areas. Let's talk about care, for example. Care is something that I know my mom has for me in buckets, right? It's unlimited. If I ever speak to my mom, she won't care who she's been on the podcast, what I've been up to, where I've just traveled to, where I've just spoken. All she'll want to say is, have you eaten today? Because she cares about me. She just cares about my health and well-being. She's like, did you sleep well? Did you eat well? That's all I want to know. So I know that I can trust her deeply on that. But then when it comes to competence, I may not be going to her for advice on a work decision or a business trip or whatever else it may be. It's not because she doesn't care, it's because for that particular decision or that choice, I'm more in need of competence than care. Often what I find is we get these mixed up. We go to people we care for advice about things they're not competent with, or we go to people who are competent about something and wonder why they don't care about us. The next one I want to talk about is consistency. There are some people in your life, and you can think back to when you went to high school, when you went to college, maybe even your first years of work. There have been people that have survived all phases and stages of you. They have consistently been there for you. Now, they may not have been the most caring, they may not have been the most competent, but they were around. They were there. They showed up when you needed them. They have been consistent throughout your life. There's someone that you have inside jokes with. There's someone you could hang with anytime. There's someone you feel completely comfortable around. These people are also important and often forgotten because maybe they don't show up in one of the other ways, but you trust them to always be there. And fourth and final is character. There may be certain people in your life who live with really high moral values, really high moral character. They remind you of what's really important in life. They remind you of how to make important choices about prioritizing your time, energy, money. They're people who help you rise to a greater purpose, to be of service to others. You trust them for that, but they may not know about this. I remember once going to my monk teacher, who I considered to be of extremely high character, and asking him a question about my professional life. And I loved his honesty, where he just said to me, he goes, "Jay, I'm not an expert in that area. I'm here to help you in your spiritual life. Go and ask someone else who knows about that part of your world." To me, that was such an endearing but also honest answer, because so often we're going to people and asking them for answers that, quite frankly, they don't know they have. Now, you may find some people in your life who want to be relevant, who want to be significant, and they'll give you the answers you want to hear or try and have an opinion. But actually what's happening there is they're going to let you down, and you're going to feel they let you down in that process. So what I'd love for you to do is make a list of areas in your life where you need competence, and who are the people you can trust for that? Who are the people you turn to for care in your life? And who do you trust to give you care? Who are the people that are consistently there? Maybe drop them a message and tell them, thank you for consistently being there. And think about the people that you turn to for those moral decisions. Now, of course, we'd want someone who has all four of these. I've actually had friends of mine come to me and say, you know, I love this guy, he's great, I think he's good for me, but he doesn't really know anything about business. And it's like, wait a minute, are you looking for a life partner or are you looking for a business partner, right? They're totally two different things. And often you're evaluating someone against a set of criteria that aren't relevant for that type of trust in your life. If you want to make sure that you rise to contractual trust with someone, make and fulfill the promises. Be true to your word and keep up with your commitments. If you want to rise to mutual trust with someone, give sincere compliments. Be open to and share constructive feedback, and always offer support. And if we really do want to push a relationship into pure trust, we need to be ready to stand by someone in their bad times. We've got to not accept, but allow them to make their mistakes and give them space to grow, while we're ready to offer them support from close or from a distance. As Kevin Plank said, trust is built in drops and lost in buckets. The mistake I see us make is that we give away our trust in buckets and then have to deal with the drops that are left over. Hey, it's Jay. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button below so that you don't miss out on any more content. I'll see you in the next video.